What would happen if all the flies suddenly disappeared? Imagine waking up one morning, opening your kitchen window, and realizing that the constant buzzing sound, the universal background noise of summer, was gone. At first, most people would probably celebrate. No more annoying houseflies circling your lunch, no more fruit flies hovering over your bananas, no more mosquitoes. Well, actually, mosquitoes aren't flies. They belong to a different family. So, sorry, you'd still have those. But houseflies, blowflies, fruit flies, horseflies, and thousands of other species, gone. Humanity would throw a party for a week, and then things would get weird. First, let's talk about garbage. Flies are nature's janitors. Every time an animal dies in the wild, it doesn't just politely decompose on its own. The process is sped up by armies of flies, especially blowflies, which are usually the first to arrive at a carcass. They lay their eggs, maggots hatch, and within days the body's reduced to bones. Without flies, decomposition slows dramatically. Dead animals would linger far longer in fields and forests. You'd take a nice walk in the countryside, and instead of birds singing, you'd smell, well, let's say a lot more biology. And it's not just about dead animals. Flies also help recycle dung. Yes, the less glamorous part of their resume. Manure, animal droppings, and all the other messy byproducts of living creatures are rapidly broken down by fly larvae. Without them, the ground would quickly pile up with waste. Farmers would face a massive problem. Pastures for cows, sheep, and horses would become unusable, turning into endless fields of droppings that refuse to vanish. Imagine a world where you can't step outside without stepping into something unpleasant. Not so fun now, right? But the real disaster comes when you consider the food chain. Flies aren't just a nuisance, they're food. Thousands of animals rely on flies and their larvae as a main source of nutrition. Frogs, lizards, spiders, bats, fish, and birds all feast on flies. Take away flies, and you starve these creatures. Frogs start to vanish. Then the predators that eat frogs, like snakes and herons, decline too. Within a few years, ecosystems around the world collapse like dominoes, all because the buzzing disappeared. And then there's pollination. When we think of pollinators, we imagine bees and butterflies, and they do play the starring role. But flies, especially hoverflies, are the unsung heroes of pollination. They visit flowers, spread pollen, and keep entire plant species alive. In fact, some plants are exclusively pollinated by flies. Without them, certain crops, like cocoa, carrots, and onions, would suffer major declines. Yes, you heard that right. No flies means no chocolate. Suddenly, humanity's week-long celebration doesn't sound so smart anymore. Science has already given us a preview of this. In places where fly populations have been wiped out due to pesticides or habitat destruction, pollination rates drop sharply. Crop yields fall, farmers struggle, and food prices skyrocket. Now imagine that on a global scale. Supermarkets without chocolate, fruit shelves half empty, and fewer vegetables on your plate. You might not miss the buzzing, but you'd definitely miss dessert. Of course, some people might argue, fine, let's live without flies. Technology will save us. And yes, in theory, humans could try to replace their roles. We could invent machines to break down waste, design artificial pollinators, or genetically engineer other insects to pick up the slack. But these solutions would cost billions of dollars, and they'd never work as efficiently as millions of tiny winged cleaners already do for free. On top of that, medicine would take a surprising hit. Believe it or not, flies have been invaluable in scientific research. Fruit flies, for example, are one of the most studied organisms in biology. They've taught us about genetics, aging, disease, and even sleep cycles. They're basically the unpaid interns of science. Without them, countless experiments and medical breakthroughs would have been impossible. Erasing flies would slow down the pace of discovery, leaving us a little more ignorant about ourselves. So, would the world be better without flies? The short answer, no. The long answer, it would smell worse, look worse, taste worse, and probably collapse ecologically. Humanity might enjoy a short burst of fly-free happiness, but soon the side effects would catch up. Within decades, food systems would crumble, ecosystems would unravel, and civilization would be stuck inventing expensive solutions to replace something that already worked perfectly, buzzing wings and all. In the end, flies may be annoying, but they're also essential. They're the invisible gears that keep nature's machine running smoothly. Without them, life as we know it would grind to a halt. So next time a fly lands on your sandwich, maybe don't curse it too much. Just wave it away and remember, that tiny irritating creature might just be saving the world, one maggot at a time.